Welcome back, and today we're talking about bottom tier character Tomozaki episode 5. And every time on Fridays when I think about what animes I have to watch and I remember about bottom tier Tomozaki, something comes through my mind, and I've always wondered, right? How is this anime going to surprise me today? Because I do feel like every time I watch this anime, even though I enjoy the episode and I think it's a great episode, I always feel like we're kind of doing like the same thing over and over and over. So what's going to happen next episode to get me excited? And every time the episode airs, I am genuinely surprised, because this episode, something big, something very different happened, to where, like, comparing it to like episode 1, this is the first time that Tomozaki was actually approached by another male character to become his friend. That's a whole different ball game throughout the anime. Ever since episode 1, you know, Hinami has been telling Tomozaki that his goal, his end goal, is to have a girlfriend by the end of the 3rd year or something along those lines, and you know, to get himself excited for the game of life. But everything ever since now has been about female characters, kind of like a harem, you could argue, right? But no, this episode we see that Tomozaki for the first time is actually talking to another person from the same gender, and that's quite exciting because, you know, you definitely need your bros. Now, before we jump into what happened in this episode, let me remind you to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out. But let's talk about Tomozaki, because he definitely had a lot of growth this episode. For one, he was able to ask Izumi out, and I wouldn't say a date, but it's more like a little group gathering of friends, right? Like, I wouldn't call it a date. It was supposed to be initially like a quick bite to eat, because Misusawa, one of the boys that was watching Tomozaki and Nakamura play, you know, he was actually inspired by what Tomozaki said. So he kind of wanted to become friends. He wanted to let him know that he was on his side. So he wanted to grab, you know, a quick bite, and it turns out into like a shopping thing for Nakamura's birthday that's coming up. And Tomozaki was able to you know, essentially ask Izumi out, completing one of his small goals to ask somebody that's not Hinami out, to go out and, you know, do something, do a little activity. And it was exciting, right? Because I remember the first time that I actually went out with friends outside of like my friend group and stuff like that, right? Like when you get to like middle school, high school, or a new environment where essentially you don't have the same people that you grew up with, right? Where you have that change of environment, it can be hard to make new friends. And I love, and that's what I love about this anime. It's actually doing a great job at showing the process, right? And I know whenever, you know, I ask a girl out to go on a date or anything like that, I was very nervous, okay? I feel like Tomozaki killed it with the way he asked Izumi out, especially since it's his first time. So that was completely awesome. Now, when it came to the actual activity, it was awesome. But I do want to point out the spaghetti. Yes, I am a connoisseur of food when it comes to anime, because I feel like if there's one thing that every anime does, it doesn't matter how good the art style, the animation is, they always put like a lot of budget into the food. Because even if the anime, the animation, the art style is completely trash, they always find a way to make the food look great. And the spaghetti that Tomozaki was eating right before he got invited to that group chat, it looked phenomenal. It made me want to go eat spaghetti. It looked that good. But once they go into the little group activity, you know, it's all about all the different people that are there, and they know how to socialize with other people. I mean, it's very clear from the start, whenever all those different characters showed up, Tomozaki was the only one that didn't say anything, right? Because again, this is his first time going into like a group environment. He's not very social. He's still practicing. He's still new to all of this. But as the episode went on, he was kind of opening up. He was kind of doing his thing. But the death stare from Hinami, that was funny. That scene, it really had me laughing, because Hinami was giving Tomozaki the death stare for not completing his task, or not attempting to complete his task of suggesting two different things and be successful at them, right? I feel like that's a little too hard. Maybe she should have kept it down to one, especially since it is the first time that Tomozaki is going out on this group environment. So I feel like one should have been enough. But you know, after he styled his hair and he noticed how much he's changed, how much he looks a lot better than before, he gets inspired by this, right? He was able to suggest to go to the the technology store, whatever they went to get a present for Nakamura. And I feel like he had a lot of opportunity to actually make suggestions. Heck, even with the whole pizza place, right, where essentially what's his name, Misusawa, he was able to tell that, you know, Hinami, she loves cheese, and there's a whole rumor going around. I hope it's not true, because I really want Tomozaki and Hinami to be a thing, but it's probably not going to, right? It's probably not going to. But essentially, there's a rumor going around. Izumi is the one that told Tomozaki that Misusawa and Hinami are dating. That's a good explanation as to why he would know about Hinami's obsession for cheese. That makes perfect sense if you think about it, right? That means that Misusawa and Hinami, they have to spend a lot of time together going on dates. So he will know what she likes to eat, especially cheese, right? I mean, heck, even Tomozaki was able to make that observation. And I feel like this is a great point for Tomozaki, because this would teach him to actually say what's on his mind when he thinks about it, right? He needs to practice that, because heck, even Misusawa said it, right? Like, if it's about cheese, there's no way Hinami is going to say no. That was a great little social thing he could have said to kind of bring his status up in the group, right? But he missed out on it because he was too deep in his thoughts. And it's okay. I'm sure by the end of this anime, Tomozaki is going to be a top tier character when it comes to the game of life. Overall, it was a good episode. And you know, now I'm asking myself what's going to happen next, right? What's going to happen next episode? Because if they keep doing the same thing, right, just seeing how Tomozaki is going to improve, I feel like it will get old. But again, I'm sure I will be surprised when I come in next Friday to watch the new episode, because this anime does that very, very well. When I feel like it will get old, they introduce something new that gets me excited. And it looks like we're gonna have a little tournament arc when it comes to like the slice of life thing, right? Because the student council nominations are up, and Hinami and I believe the other character, Mimi, I think that's her name, they're both volunteering for it. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of you know, campaign to see who would win, who's going to vote for who. And I'm sure Tomozaki is going to get involved. Now that he's kind of friends with Hinami, he's probably going to help her out. I would have wished for Tomozaki to raise his hand just out of nowhere, right? That would have been a great moment for his character to just kind of volunteer himself to be student council. That would have been a good twist, and it probably would have gotten everybody excited. Overall, good episode. Quite excited for the next one. See where this story is going to go. But let me know in the comments, what was your favorite part of this episode? And like always, make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.